disingenuous.
I don't understand why they do that. I used to do that just because I didn't understand aspects of the globe model. But
are you saying? Oh, sorry, mate. Go ahead.
the more I started understanding it, I saw that I was wrong about a lot of stuff. I still have doubts for different reasons, though. Even though, I mean, it works, I still have doubts.
So your doubts are based in these little bits and pieces that you still don't understand, or do you feel that you have a full and complete comprehension of the current model?
My doubts are not based on my misunderstandings.
Is it based on your intuition?
No.
Are your doubts based on your complete and thorough understanding?
No. My doubts are based on on the fact that I've been shown that there are possibilities that could work outside of the current model.
Do you have a complete and thorough understanding
of the current model? No, and I don't think you guys do either.
So this is the funny thing when people talk about, you don't really have the total understanding about the current model. I don't claim that I have total understanding about the globe model, absolutely. But the beauty thing about a server like this is because you get people who are specialists in physics and specialists in mathematics, and then you get people who knows a lot about artillery, and people who knows a lot about the weather effects, and people who actually went to study, the topography and the motion of the planet, and so, when they study also or measure earthquake waves and so on. So the thing is like those types of fields are so specialized, they're super hard for you to grasp your mind over it. But thankfully, because of you flat earthers, me for example, I have widened out my knowledge immensely. Like I'm more focused in physics and mathematical concepts and what do you call it, experiments. Now I'm actually know more about my planets than I used to know because of you guys, because you guys question every little thing that mainly doesn't have anything to do with the other thing, but you guys make the connection to it. It's just fine, but you guys also help us understand the planet even more.
I mean, it does work 100%. I don't have doubts anymore about whether there are problems with it or not. I don't approach it in that way anymore. It's just that the globe model has a lot of time has been invested into developing it, so it would be ludicrous to think that it wouldn't be accurate. But then when I look at the way you guys approach the debunks of flat Earth, they're not done genuinely, if that makes sense. They're done disingenuinely.
So it sounds to me that you might be on the fence. I mean, you're saying that the current model seems to be working, and you gave me the impression that you have a very good, very good understanding of it.
I don't have a very good understanding of it, and I also gave you the reason why it works, because it has a lot of time vested into it. So a lot of people have spent years and decades working on it. That's why it makes sense. But the same amount of time hasn't invested.
Well, that's not the amount of time spent on it. Isn't why it makes sense.
It sure is.
It makes sense because it matches observations for the most part.
Yeah, but imagine if those same people invested that amount of time trying to predict flat Earth.
Well,
that's
imagine if they did. What would we have? I mean, there's been
we'd have way more,
and there's been plenty of time, and there's been plenty of time for that to be done. I mean, if you just
it has
if you have it.
Flat Earth is older than.
That's the point. That's my whole point. It hasn't been done.
It doesn't matter if it's older or not. It just hasn't been done, and it's being done now.
Well, it's still not working though.
Actually, there isn't one.
Doesn't
yeah, but it's not working because it doesn't have the same length of time invested into it.
Right. They haven't
done one time. I don't understand what time's got to do with it, because you've got a much more freer means of communication now, and you've got technology now that sort of time wouldn't really matter. There's plenty of people to make observations, and there's a means of communication. There's technology there to correlate all those observations into a working flat representation. But it hasn't been done.
Time matters because you're able to to observe mistakes you may have made in the past. You're able to correct those mistakes and make adjustments, and you come up at the end the end result you get is perfected because you've invested more time correcting and adjusting errors.
5 years. There's 500,000 man years involved in flat Earth, assuming that there's 500,000 flat Earthers. There's 500,000 man years of time, and they've not been able to come up with one single coherent point.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Babs. You're saying more in a linear sense over a longer period of time,
exactly.
Not just so many man hours over a short chunk
of time. Exactly. Like the people that first started conceptualizing hold on. The people that first started conceptualizing the globe model obviously didn't get it right the first time they did it. It took time for them to correct and make adjustments to the model to get it to where we're at right now. So where has that been done with flat Earth?
Yeah, you understand that was quite a few hundred years ago where it started, and the technology and the means of immediate communication and the ability to correlate all around different parts of the world wasn't readily available. Now it is. You know what I mean? That sort of all that length of time that it's taken to produce a globe model should be vastly shortened now to make a flat Earth representation. Because of the technology and means of communication and the ability to correlate everyone together.
I don't think so. I don't think it would, because it takes years to develop maps and models. Like if you're a cartographer, for example, it's not just going to take you like a couple of months to come up with a model of Earth. There are a lot of moving parts and different elements that need to be worked.
That's absolutely wrong.
But that's part of the observation. The people do all that, and the end result is a globe.
Yeah, flat Earth in mind, though.
In the Atlanteans, 19,000 years ago, had already mapped the fucking world oceans and where all the continents were, and they'd already developed a rudimentary
document
of the Earth. A guy called Atlas.
Exactly, and that was before the internet and GPS or any of that stuff that you were referring
to. They'd already done all
that. Cartographers, etc., don't have that in mind, a flat Earth in mind, because it simply doesn't work, and there's been nothing done to put that in their mind.
How do they know that it doesn't work if there's nothing that's been done to prove
Hold
that
on one second, Babs. Is there a fucking citation for 19,000 years ago? They had the whole fucking world map?
Exactly.
No, there isn't. No.
Well, no, but we have...
I'm certainly not saying that.
Well, we have evidence from Ptolemy and what we call it, Socrates and all the other greats that are around at that time,
they ever spoke about maps.
I think they did speak about fucking Atlantis and all that, Ptolemy definitely did.
Mate. Come on, Atlantis, really.
Socrates, Ptolemy, they all did.
Yeah.
Ptolemy spoke about fucking...
We're talking about the lack of evidence of a flat Earth.
Well, there is no evidence of flat Earth apart from some daft ideas. Some daft idiot called Atlantis has got 200 bloody years ago. He had a romantic bloody telescope, didn't he?
Booga. So you have no evidence.
Would it be considered if the methodology of approach is to just dismiss it immediately?
Yeah,
that's why.
Because
you're just dealing with this shit from 19,000 years ago to try to make Babs look silly. Like, you guys don't have a model yet. They did it 19,000 years ago, but you have no proof they did it 19,000 years ago.
I'm not saying that, Jeremy. The conversation went that way, but that's not where I was.
Yeah, I just wanted to address the guy that jumped in and tried to make Babs look nuts because you don't have a model yet. I wanted to address.
Bad Chow.
So someone's saying 19,000 years ago, that would mean they just dismissed the Bible as well. Because the Bible says 6,000 years. I'm not a Christian. I'm just saying that's what the Bible says.
I'm not a Christian.
They must be an atheist, whoever said 19,000 years.
We don't even need to look at history.
The shit thing is, nobody even knows Jesus' last fucking name, so where does he fit into this?
I don't think he's real either. I think he's nothing more than a
You guys are deliberately getting sidetracked.
It was just an idea that really uphold Catholic bloody church at the time. That was it.
Get back in it. I just had to address the nutcase shit Tao said. That's all.
What do you think John Lennon had for breakfast?
I didn't hear it.
Last breakfast.
Let Babs and Waz get back at it.
Yeah. So to get back to Waz, the methodology of approach with flat Earth is just to dismiss it immediately, not to take any time to consider it or to work on it. And because of that, we're where we're at today. The globe model has been invested a lot of time, has been worked on creating rhetoric to support it, and the same hasn't been done with us. Well, so actually, we're trying to do that right now, and the same thing is happening. We're getting dismissed and denied immediately.
See, but the happens here is a lot of people are coming in here and actually talking to you about it, discussing the possibilities of how this would work. And we go through each one of the proofs that you guys supposedly put forth in your ideas, and we don't just dismiss them. We show you why we think that they're wrong.
Yeah, what was just said.
The funny thing, though, is that I personally have come up with explanations for why the things happen and how they would work on flat Earth, and a lot of you guys have accepted them. You've dismissed majority of them, but some have been accepted, though. So it's not like, everything we say is wrong, like you were trying to say.
No, if you don't know the world's history and how we developed as a fucking species and how everything came along and how we fucking built everything we did and flattened everything out and built all these big fucking skyscrapers, then you have not got one fucking helping hell's fucking chance of even trying to discover what you're trying to discover. So,
but why do I need to know that to build a globe model, though? What do I need to know?
Because that's what we've done, isn't it, over the last 19,000 bloody years, is develop the globe model and the understanding of where we live. We don't just change it all of a sudden, do we? Just because you want it flat, sorry.
With all the technology we have now, according to Waz, we don't need 19,000 years anymore. We can do it in 5 minutes now?
Well, yeah, we can do it, but not quite. If you want the evidence and to back it all up behind it, I can throw 19,000 years of evidence behind it, but we'll be sat here a long fucking time, and 7.5 billion people have just turned around to you and said, what are you fucking talking about? You're talking crap. So, this is a globe. 7.5 billion people tells you that it's a globe.
Hang on. So, Babs, what do you need and how much time? Well, how much time do you need and what do you need that much time for?
I can't say.
To build a flat Earth.
I mean, I can't say because there's so many things I'm doing right now. Like there are experiments that.
Oh, not you. No, sorry, not you personally. I mean, in general. In general,
let
flat Earth.
me feel this.
Like you said, flat Earth needs time. Sorry, Jeremy, just to drive it in a bit.
I honestly don't know how much time we need. To be honest, you
said you needed time to adjust for observations. I think you said. So I'm just wondering, what observations do you need time to adjust for, and how long a time do you need to adjust for them?
That's not what I said. I said we needed time to adjust and correct errors that may have been made in the past, and from that we can develop a thorough, more accurate model.
I can tell you what we need. We need NASA's budget for like 2 years and 2 years worth of time, and we'll have it all figured out.
Really?
Let me know when that happens.
If you went to the South Pole and you saw, if you went to the South Pole and saw a 24-hour sun, would that be enough for you, John?
Give us 2 years worth of NASA's budget and a 2 years worth of time, and we'll have it all figured out. Let me know when that happens.
So you're basically crying poor, Jeremy.
Leave Jeremy alone, man.
Well, it's more than
I'm not picking on him.
You always picking on him. Always here.
Obviously, time alone does nothing. Time alone is the cause of nothing. You need other things to go along with it.
Right,
so
Jeremy.
Time alone, I could sit in my room. That ain't going to get us nowhere.
Right, Jeremy. But now, what kind of proof would you need? I mean, like I said, could you go to the South Pole, see a 24-hour sun, and say, "Yep, done deal"? Would that be enough for you?
2 years worth.
Because that only costs $50,000.
2 years worth of NASA's budget and 2 years.
Yeah, that's budget. You've got to have tests involved. We're not just going to throw money at you. You're going to actually have to have a plan. So what are you going to test with this $1 billion or a couple $1 billion?
We're going to go across Antarctica. We're going to send a rocket. We're going to do a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to make a horizontal line. We're going to make a horizontal line over still water.
Okay, you're up to about $1 million. Okay.
Okay.
And about 3 months. What's that?
I said I would pay for it, man.
Send out paper for?
I said I would pay for it.
Scott's willing to put the money up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you said $1 million, right? $1 million? That's fine.
I'm just saying, with his test, we're up to about $1 million, maybe.
My bad, Babs. I didn't want to hijack you. Go ahead.
That's all good. I don't even think we need that kind of money, though. We just need to do specific tests in order to prove.
Here's something that sort of down the road that you should be doing. What I just posted in text there. These observations of just the way the sun tracks across the sky is a simple example. I mean, that's a picture. That's a picture showing the arc of the sun across Adelaide and the arc of the sun across Tokyo. Adelaide is as far south of the equator as Tokyo is north, and they're almost on the same longitude. So those sorts of things you can coordinate. There's plenty of views around the world. You should be able to get a data set together and put together a representation of at least how the sky works and what possible shapes it could work on.
Exactly, and that's what needs to be done. So far, it matches a globular geometry, but then when you try and debunk this using specific geometry and say that it's not going to work because the sun, if it's circling, it's not going to follow this specific path. But you're just basing that off of one model with a circling sun.
Well, exactly, and
the sun doesn't.
Right there. It is based off one flat model where it doesn't work. So that's that model out the window. Now,
and what needs to be done is we need to coordinate with different people, different parts of the world, and see what actually works with what we have.
That's what I'm saying. And you've got the technology and means of communications to do that reasonably quickly compared to what they had thousands of years ago.
Yeah, but you see what the problem is when we try and juxtapose globe Earth predictions onto a flat Earth model and say that, okay, this is what we would expect to see on a globe. Now let's apply that to a flat Earth. We need to start.
It's not even about a model.
And say, okay, what would work on a flat Earth, rather than say this is how it works on a globe. Let's apply it on a flat Earth, and it doesn't.
You see, that's wrong because you're starting with the presupposition that it's flat.
You're starting with the presupposition that it's a globe.
No, that's
no. The presupposition in the early days was that it was flat, and then that was thrown out the window as more observations came to light.
Yeah, and that was before they had P900s, so they couldn't zoom in and actually see that the boat was still there.
That was before they had telescopes.
Yeah, so they were looking at the horizon and saying that the boat's gone because of Earth curve, but when they got telescopes, they realized that the boat was still there.
No, that's not what happens.
It's still there until it's gone out of the telescope's view.
Yeah, but why is that happening though?
Telescopes can't see forever. No, telescopes can't see infinitely. Telescopes can't see the length of their bloody.
You can get the Lucifer telescope and look for a ship that's 20 miles away, and it's going to be gone. You can do it in infrared. You can do it in X-ray. You can do it in whatever the hell you want. You're not going to see that boat.
You can't see round corners with straight fucking lines.
Right.
Looking through the telescope wasn't my point. I was just talking about the telescope as a technology in general. I mean, it was thought the Earth was flat originally. That was the presupposition.
Yeah, because that's what we see naturally.
It used to be the presupposition.
The world naturally, we observe it as being flat.
Yeah.
It's only until someone else comes and tells you that it's a globe that you believe otherwise.
Just shatter your paradigm.
When I put together all the information, I tried to come in as fair as I could with flat Earth and try and give the devil his due and think through the different proofs that they had and different questions they had. And I keep on coming back to, as soon as you start looking beyond just looking at horizon and looking and saying it looks flat. Everything points towards a globe.
You need to coordinate.
The horizon is refracted, so everything at that point is going to be subject to refraction. It's not
horizon.
That doesn't matter. The horizon doesn't matter, Babs. All I can do is suggest that you guys in the northern hemisphere, you flat earthers in the northern hemisphere, coordinate and communicate and correlate data with guys that are flat earthers in the southern hemisphere, and you'll find that when you start doing that, there's a very minimal amount of shapes it could work on, and the best one it works on is the one we've currently got. So unless you can come up with something,
so you're
asking me to coordinate with different people around North America and look at globe Earth evidence.
No, not North America, the southern hemisphere. The northern hemisphere flat earthers have to coordinate with the southern hemisphere flat earthers, is what I'm saying.
Okay, so if we were to do that and we were to, say, make observations, you do realize that those observations are going to be based on the globe. We would say that, for example, let's look at Polaris from different coordinate points on Earth. If we observe that it matches the latitude lines that we're observing it from, then that means that we're on a globe. But initially, our hypothesis was that we're on a globe. We didn't start with the hypothesis that we're on a flat Earth. So it becomes problematic because you're making presuppositions off of that.
The thing, you guys shouldn't start with the presupposition.
How do we do that though? All of the predictions that are presented to us are based on presuppositions. So how do we start?
No, make your own observations is what I'm saying.
We've tried, but they're rejected most of the time.
Well, you got to get them all to work together. That's the thing. That's the trick. You can't have one saying, "Oh, it works because of this one observation."
Yeah, they have to be
another 5 or 10 that don't work with it.
They have to be congruent with each other, because if they're not, then they don't work. I agree.
Yeah, and that's what you don't have.
See this image?
What is that? I don't understand what that is.
Okay, what that was is it was a this is scrushed horizontally, but this is two proofs in one. Basically, it's proving your camera lens and the horizon curves. And what it is it's probably like a 4-foot table with like a 6-foot piece of test gear set up. It's just a couple of reference points, which are solid steel beams with a gap between them. And between that gap is the horizon. Now, what you can tell from this, first off, is that the camera lens at the center of frame, between where the horizon is yielding straight lines for the metal beams, but it's yielding a curved line for the horizon.
Can I offer a suggestion of how that would be possible?
So you're going to explain how the straight lines remain straight and the supposed straight line in between curves.
The straight line being the horizon. Why is it not straight?
The straight line being those are verifiably straight.
Yeah, I understand. And what you're getting at is, why is the horizon not straight? If it's on a flat Earth, it should be perfectly straight, right? Is that what you're getting at? So here's my explanation for that. If you consider the horizon to be the limit of your vision, on both models, the horizon would be a circle that's around you, 360 degrees. Now, if we're looking at the edges to the left and right of that circle, they're going to be bending slightly closer to you. Because if the circle is the limit of your vision, it's not just going to be a straight line from left to right. It's going to be a circle. That's why we see a circular, bendy horizon.
But that would appear, like if you put a hula hoop up at eye level, it would appear as a straight line. So I'm not sure if that really applies.
Yeah, but when you move further away from that hula hoop, you start to see curve, don't you?
You're not going to move further away. If you're at eye level, you're not going to see the curve ever.
Wait, no, hold on. I didn't use a good example. If you're in the middle of that hula hoop, when you look straight, if you zoom in, it's going to look kind of flat, but the more you start zooming out, you'll start to see the bowed edges of the hula hoop.
one that you'd have to kind of go with mathematics on and see how much that should be. Because first off, you are equidistant from the hula hoop the whole way. It's 3 miles to the edge.
Yeah, and the horizon would be equidistant to you. If you're at the center of that circle, the horizon would be equidistant.
I've got a bit of a problem with the explanation there, Space Folk, because if we look at a circle edge on, as Moyak says, it looks straight. We're looking at something at extreme distance, which doesn't look straight when calibrated through two things that are straight. And the other thing is why would it dip down when it's coming back towards me?
This is the problem. We keep trying to whack them over the head with logic and truth. All we do is make their ears bleed. They get back up, put the cotton buds back in their ears, and carry on saying it's flat. They've got to go out there and do stuff themselves. There's no point.
No, I think the problem is that you're
NASA's budget.
Expecting me to be converted.
You don't need NASA's budget, Jeremy.
Sorry,
hold on. The problem is that they're expecting us to be converted off of 1 or 2 discussions. It's not going to happen like that. It's going to take time. Even hundreds couldn't, because there's obviously something happening cognitively with us that's preventing that from happening.
That's good.
It's not that we're dumb or we just don't get it. There's obviously something
you're putting up your own barriers. That's what you're doing. You don't. That's not true.
I don't think
you're going to make a logical deduction. Everything points to. Well, wouldn't you at least logically say that that's the most likely situation?
Logically, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think
what would say to Globe Skeptic though? They have got some sort. They have got like at least a Cavendish. And they have got some sort of like physical experiments, whereas we've just got observations like that contradict the globe, but we haven't really got no.
Yeah, but they've got thousands of decades.
Those observations
we don't have that.
The globe.
They have time on their side. They have time
and money,
working on it, and money.
You're just making barriers for yourself. Like I said, guys, you don't need that much money, if any. All you need to do is coordinate. I mean, you can work it out.
All we need to do is ask you, how do you have a gas pressure without a container? That's all we need to do.
You want to do things that aren't necessary.
Can you mute yourself, please? As a mod, can you mute yourself, please?
Is it not necessary?
Do you want the answer to that?
Is it not necessary?
Gas pressure container?
A gas container without... Yeah. I'll give you the answer to that. It's called the sun.
The sun, like the Jupiter. I've heard the Jupiter one.
Brummy, how do you
points
make
things
out
in the sky and presupposing what
no, it's our sun, as in the sun. Sol.
We don't know if that's gas pressure.
Of course we do. It's made out of helium and hydrogen. We know what it's made of. It's a big gas ball.
Jeremy, you're never going to do.
We don't even know if space is real.
You live in...
Start talking the second other people stop talking, like they don't even give 1 second. I do it all the time too. But
I gave you the answer. That's it. The sun.
It looks like a charged particle. The sun is a charged particle orbiting the atom. We are the atom in the middle. That's the positively charged particle, and the moon's a negatively charged particle.
Who said the bloody sun did anything?
God.
I'm just saying it could be anything. We could call it whatever we want.
How you determine? 1 second, I just want to drill into this. How have you determined that the sun is the positive and the moon is the negative? Why that way?
Conflating it and not
what tests have you done? What
tests have I done? Well, I've got this amazing brain, right, that's able to fucking use its intuition and like logically do like stuff. And
you just
the test.
It's an arbitrary assignment of a positive and negative. That's all you've done.
Oh, obviously, electricity is a thing. Then it's like it's real, and then yeah, that's how I did it, man. The Earth's got magnetic field.
The sun, and then the moon. But again, that's not telling me how you came to the conclusion that the sun is your positive and your moon is your negative.
Well,
they obviously get sidetracked.
Just for reasons. Tell him that.
Yeah, reasons. Just just like if you look at the diagrams of
you don't need to expand on that. That's fine.
This is where getting them guys to do something reasonable get sidetracked with bullshit.
How do you have gas pressure in a container? So demonstrate gas pressure.
They will never do anything reasonable.
Okay,
they'll never do anything reasonable because we keep sidetracking them with bullshit.
Yeah, that's all shit. Yeah, right.
It just encourages them to talk bullshit.
I'm so dumb.
Waz, all I want to do is draw. All I want to do is draw a straight line and measure the drop from horizontal. That doesn't seem too unreasonable or anything.
Have you called a surveyor yet?
If you can't do it, Jeremy, it's unreasonable.
Yes,
I could do it.
It's unreasonable.
I could do it if we had the budget of NASA. For
You don't need
an
NASA.
hour.
If
I had NASA's budget for an hour,
You don't have
I'd
the
be
budget, so it's,
Jesus, I told you last week.
It's unreasonable.
Go and find a fucking nut and a piece of string. There you go.
Talk. Fuck it, I'm going to bed.
Why don't you go to FeeCore, Jeremy, and post a donation link in your server, in the 24/7 server, and you guys can actually fund FeeCore to do a test for you guys. How about that?
This place is fucked up.
Call a fucking surveyor. Have you, Jeremy? What have you actually done so far, Jeremy? Have you called the surveyor? Have you asked them to come and do that line?
We could try to get over one more Madi if we wanted.
Do you know what that line's even called?
People will squeal though.
I can just mute everyone and have a conversation with Jeremy and Babs, but that's irrelevant. That's just not the way it should work.
We could be more draconian though. I mean, we could just start, really making people stop being so. Problem is that
just stop all the conversations.
Look, there you go. There you go. There's a case in point right there. You and I are trying to talk, Scott, and fucking someone has to jump in.
Which you're never going to get a fucking word in anywhere because somebody will want to control the conversation, pull everybody out, manipulate them so they don't talk, and then, just carry on as they normally do. So
you're making the point, mate.
Exactly.
You're exactly making the point.
Yeah, the point's